wrestling fans. Welcome to the middle of the week of Canadian Wrestling Week on the internationally known Dudes at Ringside podcast. I am your host, Joe the Panther the Third. And man, what a great week so far. Canadian Wrestling Week. And man, why not welcome back one of my favorite guests from the past? Let's give a welcome return to Jessika Black.
Woo, woo, cheers.
If I had
Thank
a
you for
drink, I'd be
having me.
drinking.
It's all good. Thank you
So
for having
glad
me.
to
So
have
glad to
you
be back.
back, Jessica. Welcome back.
It's a blast. And on International Canadian Week, that's amazing. Like,
Yes,
what more can I ask for?
I know, and I like. So, what have you been up to since the last time we all hung out?
So last time we talked, if I'm not mistaken, it was like in the fall, and I was in Georgia. I was at the Nightmare Factory. I was training there, and now came back to Canada, back home, back to my sweet home in the middle of winter, and just have been wrestling since then. Like, I've been working since wrestling, and it's been really busy, but it's been really good. I've been getting a lot of experience, a lot of good matches, and just having fun.
Awesome. So is there like any stories you have in from the ring from any of the matches recently that you want to talk about, or from the road?
That's a good question. I think you know what? In general, what's been really happening a lot more recently is just like a lot more of like mini tours, which has been really fun. Um, I've been out to like different parts in Canada, been out to Saskatchewan, and just like doing like 2, 3 provinces within a weekend, which I don't know, like with the states, I don't know, some of the states I feel are closer, but our Canadian provinces are pretty big. So doing like a couple of provinces in one weekend, it's been a lot. It's been like a lot of travel, but it's been a lot of fun and met a lot of people. Wrestled a lot of different people from across Canada, which is like it's just great. And like it's let's just say I've had some matches where I've been pretty damn tired, but I've like plowed through and still been able to get the win, and it's been a lot of fun.
Awesome. So like when you go on these tours, Jessica, is there like certain like regimen like you do before the show, like the week of the show? Like what is like your regimen like?
So for me, I don't feel well if I don't go to the gym. So that's one of the hardest things on tour sometimes is making like getting access to like a decent gym. There was one tour that we did, was in Saskatchewan, and we were really far away. It was like 3 hours from Saskatoon, which is a small city, and we were in a really, really, really small town. And we like the we went to the local gym, and it was sorry, not the local gym, the local school, and we had a little conference about anti-bullying, and spoke to the kids about that. And then we were just like asking around town. We're like, is there like a place that we can go train? And the school was really nice enough to open up this little room for us that had like free weights and all, and it looked like someone had done tried to do something when COVID was like happening and everything was closed, and we just like made do with what we can. But like for me, that was like going to the gym was really important, and trying to eat as healthy as possible. But that's not it's actually easier to eat healthier than always finding a gym everywhere you go.
Mm. So I asked it to the other two ladies that I had on here for so far for Canadian Wrestling Week. Like, if our fans are not ever like and never had poutine,
Yep.
like how how is it? Because if there's our fans have never had it, like what are they in for?
So it's so in Quebec. So who have you spoke to outside of like who are the other Canadians you've spoke to?
I've had Sam Kelly.
Okay, she's from Quebec, so she has like, and who was the other person?
The other one was, oh my gosh, why am I blanking?
I think I
Cat Von Heels.
Okay, yeah, okay. She's lived in Quebec, so she also has credibility. But it's very why I say that is because Poutine is specifically from Quebec, and a lot of other provinces have tried to imitate it, and they can't. And I'll tell you specifically why they can't. So, in case people don't know, poutine is fries, gravy, and something that we have only in Quebec, which is curd cheese. or you can call it squeaky cheese. And it's a special type of cheese that, and I'm not exaggerating here. This is not like me saying that, like, oh, you can find it somewhere else, but it's really hard to find. You cannot find it outside of Quebec. It is not approved in other provinces. It is not like
Mm.
a like it's a special kind of cheese that is only made in Quebec. And why it's so important is that it doesn't melt when you put the gravy on. The cheese doesn't melt, so it stays kind of hard. And in other places in Canada, they just use mozzarella cheese, which is not the same thing. So have poutine when you can, but know that it is different in Quebec. It is the original one in Quebec, and it's a delicacy. It's one of those it might give you diabetes, but it'll be good for you know.
I've been hearing. I heard from the what's his, oh my gosh, one of our Canadian podcast friends.
Yeah,
It's like, you come to Canada, Joe, you have to have poutine, and I'm like, I guess I gotta have it now.
yeah.
Like,
I mean, so yeah, and again, I'll go even further. If you come to Quebec, specifically Montreal, you have to have poutine, you have to have smoked meat, and bagels.
well, I'm a former New Yorker. I grew
Yeah.
up in Long Island, New York, so bagels are like, you know how they have the O's and the X's in your DNA. The O's were bagels.
And that's why you need to have the bagels specifically, so you can compare them to your bagels and see where we rank, because we rank pretty high here with our bagels.
Oh wow.
Yeah, we do. I've heard some New Yorkers say our bagels are better. I'm just
So
putting it out.
have you had the like, my sister's starting, she's got me into this, and I'm gonna go international with it. Have you had bagels, cream cheese, and bacon yet?
And bacon? No. Usually it's my cream cheese and salmon is what I like trying
Ooh,
out.
yeah. Oh yeah, bagels and lox. Yeah,
But
yeah.
yeah, but bacon? No, I have not tried that.
Yes, and you have to, my dad said you gotta put a little syrup on it too.
Oh, that's interesting. All
Yes,
right.
because it's the salty from the bacon. I did the Italian. The salty with the
Uh,
bacon, and the syrup makes it like a little sweet. So
All
it's
right.
like sweet and salt. And at my job, they don't just put the bacons flat. They'll cut the bacon up and layer it.
Hmm. That does sound good. That does sound very interesting. I'm intrigued.
Because that's a full breakfast, or it could be a lunch
Yeah.
because it's bacon. So
Yeah.
yeah.
I'm
So
intrigued.
is there anybody that you've been watching on Instagram or YouTube that, like, that you really want to wrestle that you haven't had a chance to, then you, like, really been trying to get on those shows with them?
Uh, and that question, like, I get asked that question a lot, and I struggle answering it because I just want to wrestle everybody. Like I see anybody, and I want to wrestle them. For like a variety of reasons. One, because I want to test myself. Two, because I want to get better. Uh, and so when I'm like looking at anyone in particular, it's like I just it's everybody. Like there's like I wouldn't say no to anybody from people who are on TV, people who are not on TV. Sometimes I like actually rather wrestle the people that are on like the cusp of getting signed, just because I feel they're the hungriest and they're the ones that are working the hardest. So you can often like get like they're more motivated to do really well. And but Yeah, uh, I want to wrestle everybody, and I want to be that person that everybody wants to wrestle.
Mm,
I want to have that those good matches with everybody, and just kill it.
awesome. So, Jessica, I saw a thing on your Instagram. I think it was yesterday or day before that. You had a chance to compete with Teal Piper and her husband. So what was that like?
That was really cool. It was really fun. So it was a mixed tag with me and Jeremy Prophet against Damos and Teal Piper, and it was they were really nice. They were coming off a little tour too, so they had like some long travels that they went through, and we had a good a good match. That they cheated. They
Oh,
we Yeah, they used some illegal tactics. So we ended up winning by disqualification, which was unfortunate because I would have liked to, to have to finish it right. But I'm hoping to have a rematch. So I'm hoping that they're going to come back up. The plan is that they come back and we have a rematch and we make things right. But they were really fun to work with, and had some good stories to tell, and it was good. It was a lot of good.
Awesome. They've been on our they're on the podcast in the past. So uh, if you had a chance right now, do you want to say anything to Teal or Demos?
I need to get them back in the ring again because we only scratched the surface of what we can do before they went on and cheated, and especially me and Jeremy Prophet, hands down, I am putting this on record, are the best mixed tags team, I would say, of Canada, hands down, and possibly all of North America. And
Awesome.
no one can beat us at our game. We are a well-oiled machine, and we need to right that wrong.
Awesome. I definitely would like to get Jeremy on the podcast at some point.
He's
This year or even like the end of the year or something like that.
I'm sure he'd love to do it. I'm sure.
And you guys could even come together because you're a tag
Yeah,
team, and I love interviewing tag teams.
yeah, no, it's fun, and we like, I really do mean it. Like we are a strong team in the ring and out of the ring. So,
Nice.
so yeah, we're unbeatable.
Is there any place in the world or in the part of Canada that you like to travel to that you haven't been to yet?
So there's two places in Canada that I'd like to go. I haven't gone to Vancouver. There's a promotion there, MEW, that seems to be taking a lot of steam and getting a lot of cool shows. They're putting on a lot of cool shows that I'd like to go to, and I also haven't gone to the Maritimes, which like goes to New Brunswick, like on top of like Vermont, New Hampshire kind of place. That would be fun. I had a chance to go to Japan a couple years back, but I got injured and couldn't make the trip. So I'd like to take that back and be able to go to Japan. But yeah, those are my where I'd like to go.
Awesome. Is there any like stipulations if a promoter came up to you and said, "I want you to do this tonight," you would be like, "Yeah, I can't do that."
So I actually do have a rule. And that's not going to be a popular rule with everyone, but I do not do one-on-ones with men. I do not do singles matches against men. I only do mixed tag teams, but I don't do singles for a variety of reasons. I think that the more women are on shows, the better it is for women. So I want to like just promote women, and I think that women should be helping each other to fight the negativity that we sometimes still get. And I know not everyone would agree with me, but that's okay. And but that's just one thing that for me that is that's a rule that I try to stick to as much as possible.
That's you're totally right, Jessica, because like with me, I people used to say to me in the past that I used to interview too many women. And I would jump in their not jump in their face, but do the Joe and I go, I do interview a lot of women, but I like to help the women's revolution rise and help like a lot of women's wrestlers don't do interviews, podcasts, or shows because they're afraid that they're gonna get like harassed or like stupid questions or they're gonna with
Yeah,
me, I steer away from anything that's rude or disrespectful. I try to keep it like we're at a restaurant, all hanging out, drinking a beer, watching a wrestling show, and just chilling. Or in a
Pre-
front row at a ringside show, we're just talking like people that have known each other for like 100 years.
appreciate
So,
that, and we need people
and
like
please, yeah, please tell your female friends, the wrestlers, that Joe Panther the Third likes to interview everybody,
that.
men,
Awesome, I will.
women, and I want more female wrestlers from Canada. Please open the doors for me,
We
because yeah,
have, and I have to say that Canada is it's a gold mine of wrestlers, of female wrestlers and male wrestlers, because we're here and we're working really hard, and we're putting on good matches. But like we're kind of confined to Canada. We can't legally go and work in the states, so not a lot of people hear about us.
mm,
But we're really good, and there's a really a lot of good talent here. And I'm like, I like putting myself in there, but it's not just me. There's a lot
yeah,
of good women here, and again, not just women, men, and like the more eyes that we can have on Canada, the more eyes we can have on women's wrestling, just the better it is for everybody.
There's a female wrestler. I don't know if you're familiar with that. The relentless Riley Rose. She's
Yeah,
another one.
yeah, she's really good.
Yes,
So,
she's young and I
yeah,
had her on the show. Her episode will debut on my return from the holiday break. So
nice.
she's a good one. And a few of the wrestlers that I've had on, Kat Von Heels,
Yeah.
Sam Kelly,
Mhm.
like they're right now with you. Oh my gosh, there's so many.
Mhm.
Like it's so many that I haven't even had on the show yet that I've been like, please, someone open the doors for me. It's like I feel like Louis Tully with the terror dog. Go, let me in. You gotta let me
Well, yeah,
in. That's
we'll set you up. We'll set you up. All right.
please. Okay, before we go, Jessica, is there any shows that you have coming up that you wanna talk about?
Yeah, so I'd like to talk about or promote XZW on June 30th is doing a show to raise money for a women's shelter here in Quebec. So obviously something that's close and dear to my heart. And it's going to be a really great show. It's going to focus on women. So there's going to be a lot of women on the roster. And I know that we're all going to be putting our best, well, we always put our best foot forward, but we're going to put our extra best foot forward to raise as much money as possible. So XZW, also a great, it is generally a great promotion in Quebec. So check it out. And there's also GNW in July 15th. They'll be going against Persephone Vice in a hardcore or a no DQ match. So that'll be interesting too. I have only done one of those before, so it's going to be great to bring out all the weapons and bring up all the stops and beat someone's ass.
Yeah. I like that one. All right, one more question before we go. If there was any young wrestlers from Canada or America or overseas that were watching this podcast and they needed advice on getting themselves like in the business further, or they just thinking about doing a training, what kind of advice would you give them?
So I think I have three pieces of advice. I'm going to try to keep this short. One, don't rush in the sense of get good training. Make sure that you uh, get good training. Go to the best school that you can find and invest in yourself. It's like if you want to be a doctor, you would invest money to go to school to become that doctor. So if you want to be a wrestler, it's the same thing. You got to invest money. Don't throw your money away recklessly, but just find a good school and get good training. That would be the first thing. So get good training. All right. Two is never lose yourself. Always remember why you're doing this and always keep going forward. Remember what your goal is. And sometimes you're going to have to ignore a bunch of things around you and have tunnel vision, but remember your goal and just go for it. And the third one is don't listen to everybody's advice.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Jessica, for coming back on the podcast. I can't even tell you how happy I am to have you back on, representing Canada and representing yourself. I will definitely love to have you come back at the end of the year with your tag team partner because
Yes,
that
yes.
sounds like I think I could hear Canadian Wrestling Week 2.0
Nice.
like
Like,
coming
like
back. Yes. I'm Joe Pemp the third,
I'm Jessica Black.
and we will catch you in the next one.